In this video, we're talking Disneyland Forward, we're talking Universal. We got some interesting Universal news actually in this video that's going to be pretty fascinating. We got a lot to talk about. We're going to dive into a lot of different aspects of this theme park world. Up next, OG 55. Welcome aboard to another episode of OG 55. I am joined by a very, very fantastic panel with a special guest, Mr. Theme Park Conductor Brandon. Brandon, first time on the show, brother. Yes. Welcome.
Thank you.
It's an honor having you on, sir. If you could let everybody at home know, Brandon, where they can find you on social media, your YouTube, all that good stuff, sir.
Absolutely. So on my YouTube channel, you can follow me at Theme Park Conductor. On Twitter, you can follow me at Theme Conductor. On Instagram, you could follow me on Theme Park Conductor.
There you go. Very, very easy. So again, follow him on Theme Park Conductor on all the socials and give him a subscribe on YouTube. Absolutely. And Brandon, thank you again for coming on, sir.
No worries.
And then down below, we got Mr. Theme Park Wizard. Ethan, welcome back, sir.
Me? Oh, how special. You can follow me on Theme Park Wizard on YouTube, Theme_Park_Wizard on Instagram, and Threads. That's right. Thread it up. And then you can follow me on Theme_Wizard on Twitter and buy all my crap where I just raised the prices 10% on ThemeParkWizard.shop.
There he is, Mr. Wizard.
You gotta do it. Gotta do it.
Now, Wizard, I heard that Elon is terrified. He got the word that Wizard's on Threads now. He's like, oh shit, we're done.
He just lost a major following. So that's when he took that lawsuit, because he's like, that's when I moved over. He found out, he's like, I gotta get a Wizard back.
Right? Yeah, I know.
He knows I'm gonna drag Blackpink with him.
Oh yeah, don't even get me started on Blackpink. Okay, don't even get me started. The whole show will be about that. Mr. Vast Sky, host of Freshly Squeezed, welcome back, sir.
Hey, I do appreciate you having me back, man. It's been so long. Oh gee, it feels like I've been gone forever. Unfortunately, a couple of days I will be, which is pretty insane. But
well, not forever. Just to clarify for the audience.
Not forever. That's probably a good point right there. But no, not forever, but for a little bit, for sure. As the whole OG55 crew essentially is going to Walt Disney World and doing all kinds of fun stuff. But we'll have more details on that on a later show. But if you guys want to follow me, you can go do so right there at Vashka. Just go ahead, type it in. It should pop up for, as somebody would say. I don't know. Is it Christy McCarthy? Is it Dana Walton? I don't know. But for all the robust discussion right there, you can go ahead and follow me on Twitter and actually Threads as well. I am on there as well. And if you want to go ahead and see me, it's going to be in the training watch right now at Orange Grove 55. We have some amazing shows, including my own Freshly Squeezed, your source for juice, news, and info. Squeezed fresh, right from the Grove.
Perfect. All right, so we're gonna get this party started, Universal style. We're gonna start the show with some Universal stuff. Dre, if you want to go ahead and set the table, and we'll kind of dive right in.
Right. So we have a scoop, right? Oh, gee,
we
have a big old scoop and big old scoop ice cream for you. So, all right.
And just so we can clarify, it's a Universal scoop, but it's not a big scoop like this one.
That is one big pile of shit.
It's not that kind of scoop.
Not that kind of scoop, but it's related. Well, people will understand in just a second. Okay. This is going swimmingly, by the way. I'm so glad we're doing this. Here we go.
Hold on to your butts.
There we go.
There
okay,
we go.
so Everybody knows that Universal Core has been just a huge contributor to the channel in terms of not just information but friendship. He recently had a little bit of a falling out with a prior associate that he was providing scoops to, and he's like, "Hey, you know what? I'm gonna take my scoops to somewhere else." And fortunately for the channel and for you viewers at home, he decided to share some information with us. And this one was a pretty big one here. This one was a pretty epic one, and I'm gonna have OG55 get into the details. But essentially, what we're talking about here is that Universal, or Comcast, I should say, wants to diversify their Universal theme park brand. And not just with new parks, as we have been hearing with the Texas park, for example. Epic Universe is on the way, and even some HHN stuff is going into Vegas, but even beyond that. And from what he has heard, Universal Core is telling us that they might be looking at maybe developing their own cruise line. So, OG, why don't you go ahead and take it away from here?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Again, this is credit to our friend Universal Core who sent me this message. Now, I did get permission from him to share this information on the channel and everything. So he says here that Universal Creative is in the early stages of designing a cruise line for Universal Studios. The rumor is that their private island would be based off Jurassic Park. Now, this is so brilliant. I mean, this is such a no-brainer idea, kind of like, duh, right? You private island, Jurassic Park, like that's so perfect. If this goes through, I think this will be a massive hit for Universal. Massive hit. I think this is going to be incredible for the kiddos. I think even dad is going to be like, okay, I want to go on this cruise too.
Oh yeah,
I think this is going to be pretty epic, dude. So
and yeah, this comes from Core, who has been, he's taken some flack for some of the scoops that he's had, and he has been proven to be right, as time has revealed. So, look, we wouldn't be reporting on something like this unless we trust the source, and we absolutely do. And look, it makes sense for Universal as a brand, right? Because if you're looking at the cruise line industry right now, it is going gangbusters. I mean, it is very, very successful right now. It's one of the only kind of extracurricular activities that is doing very, very well. We know the box office has been sagging a little bit, theme parks as well in some respects. But the cruise line, you can't say that about that industry. I mean, it is really kind of taken off, and I have my opinion as to maybe why that is, maybe the all-inclusive nature of it. It's kind of an exotic thing to do and doesn't cost a tremendous amount of cash and money. I think this is a big win here for Universal if they do pursue this. But I kind of wanted to hear from from our panel members here what they actually think. Here we have theme park conductor here, of course, and conductor, what do you think about this? Think this is a good avenue for them to go? Do you think they can stand up against the mouse?
You know what? I personally think it's a great idea. If Universal can maximize on it, hey, I'm all for it. I am part of many people that would say, I'm willing to throw the money down to go on that cruise line, enjoy Jurassic Park, because Jurassic Park came out in the 90s. I'm a 90s kid, so I love Jurassic Park. And if it goes to other destinations, like it goes to the other Universal parks here in the U.S. and out of the country, hey, I'm willing to throw the money down. I'm in. I think it would. No expense. I definitely, if they can maximize on that, they will be right in line with the mouse, for sure.
Yeah, this is a really smart move. It's all about, like, with Universal. One of the things, I think we've talked about it before on the channel and everything, and even on the phone, where it's like, okay, could they do a cruise line? Yes, they have the money for it. Comcast is huge, but what would they theme it to, right? Like, you don't want to have a cruise line that's like a Minion cruise or something, right? Like, okay, I don't know about all of that. Yeah. But this idea is like, this is very smart, because Universal's taking a property they have, a very popular property, and they're making a very realistic kind of excursion, like something that you would see from the movie. I mean, this is something like literally like in the first movie, they take a helicopter to Jurassic Park. this isn't that far removed from what you're going to be doing here. You're taking a boat. I mean, this is incredible. So it's a brilliant idea. I think that people are going to flock to this. And if this is very popular, we'll see what else they do with it. Maybe they'll have some sort of Harry Potter thing. I think that has potential as well.
Yeah.
I don't know. The sky is the absolute limit. Now, Theme Park Wizard, you're the our resident Universal guy. Tell us why you absolutely hate this idea.
Yeah.
Oh boy! Oh, this is the only way. Think about this. Look, they renamed their thing to Disney. I mean, sorry, Universal some experiences, right? See, experiences. So they want some more experiences. So that could be a clue right there.
Right.
Yep.
Also, I think it would be much cheaper than Disney's cruises, so that'd be nice. And I'm sure, I mean, there's so much great potential. I think a Minions cruise would personally be fantastic. I'd take that one. Like, whoa! Yeah, in fact, that probably will be a fantastic one. The Minions cruise would be so fun. Oh, just getting me giddy. But a Jurassic Park cruise would be amazing. You get to go to Isla Nublar. And then, but they have to put animatronic dinosaurs on the island, or else it wouldn't be as fun.
Right.
But I think it would be fantastic. I'd fly there in a heartbeat. I think it would be great. They can do it. They can take on Disney's cruise game. Disney's cruises are like, nice and elegant. It seems like Universal's cruises can be nice and fun, and then they'll really capture that nice audience, and it'll be great. And they can take them down. I mean, they can compete nicely in the cruise market in Florida and California.
I'm very curious because Core mentioned, he didn't get into too many details, but like their own private island. I wonder if they're doing because I know that Disney's private island is in the Bahamas, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if Universal's looking for that same. Maybe over in that area. I don't know exactly where.
I would imagine so.
I would think so. Yeah. I mean, unless there's some private island.
Bahamas has tons of islands, so I feel like you can just buy one up and make it your own.
It's tough to do that. I mean, Disney was looking a long time for the new island that they're expanding their their cruise line operation to. So that took a while. I mean, these things do take time, obviously, to build the vessels and so forth. But I think there is some islands in the Bahamas that could be acquired for that purpose or be shared, let's say, with some others. And then you have a like a Jurassic Park section, let's say, right? So I think it's going to take time for this to develop, obviously, but I think it's a great idea. I do kind of echo Wizard sentiments regarding Minions. Now, look, if it was all Minions on the cruise, then maybe maybe a little bit too much. But themed, let's say the kids aries, let's say Minions, right, and some of those other
and how they always have daycare, not daycare, but a teen center or something. It'd be like like a Minions themed, YMCA type thing, or whatever they have in there.
Right. Yeah. I think those would work out quite nicely.
And even like Minions walk around characters, like kids would love those.
They would.
I appreciate competition in this space. I mean, nobody's really kind of doing what Disney actually provides. They have a very unique product there in the cruise line industry, and to kind of have Universal maybe throw their hand in here, I think this is very, very good for consumers. And hey, even Disney's like, ooh, maybe we got to step it up.
And I wonder if Universal will do what Disney just did and buy the pre-built ship, so it's cheaper instead of just building all these ships from the ground up. It would be cheaper and faster.
They might, because if you look at Universal, their plans post Epic Universe, it's a much more value orientated kind of expansion. You have, I think the kiddie park in Frisco is about 550 million. Yeah, I think it's only gonna be like 20 or 30 acres. Fairly inexpensive park. You have the Halloween Horror Night thing in Vegas. They're not going like full throttle, like $1 billion things after Epic Universe. So it makes sense, Wizard, that they would do that, where they would look for something that they can get kind of on a deal. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case at all, actually. Go ahead, Brandon. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, just like Wizard was saying, if let's say they do 2 cruise ships that are already pre-built and Universal can go in there and theme it, just to test it out, just to say, okay, we have two ships. One of them obviously will be Jurassic Park, because Jurassic Park is one of those IPs that everyone can fall in love with. The other one is kind of debatable. They could do an online survey, do stuff like that for the second ship, and try it out. It might be wonderful. It might be a great success, and Universal might say after a couple of years, hey, let's get a couple more ships on our fleet, or it might be a flop. We just don't know. But since Disney is the only one at this point doing cruise lines, why not? Like OG was saying, why not get into the game? Why not?
Right.
Extend the wings.
Wait a second. Wait a second.
What's that?
A cruise, or it doesn't even have to be in September, October. This is doing a year-round thing. Oh, come on. Come on now. You know what I'm thinking. A Halloween Horror Nights cruise.
Oh,
Okay,
that'd be
I'm
dope.
down. I'm down. I'm going.
Ghost ship cruise.
That would be
There
cool.
you go.
Mazes
That
on the multiple levels. Just you go in the basement. There's these mazes there. Oh
Yeah,
boy!
boy.
And if it wants to stop at an island, they can do the spooky type of island thing.
Yeah, that has potential. That has potential, and you can even have for the Universal. I mean the Jurassic Park cruise. You can have the cruise ride to the island is spooky, like what you're saying, and then once you get on the island, it's extra scary, for Halloween or whatever. And you could tie it all in. You can have it seasonal. Or there's a lot of potential here with this. Universal has enough IP, I think. And even their third party, the IP that they're even renting, Nintendo and Harry Potter and what have you. I think they have enough that they could do some pretty cool stuff here. So, I mean, even Fast and Furious, man. I mean, you could imagine if the cruise line, like Disney, what they do on their cruise line, they stop the ship and they launch fireworks off, right? Very Disney, very magical kind of thing. Universal could have something where you have almost like a water world kind of show. They stop out in the middle of the ocean. They got the jet skis it's like a Fast and Furious kind of stunt show around the boat.
There you go.
So much. Yeah, so much you can do there, man. I mean, it's a gold mine. I think that Universal Core, like Dre said, he's a solid source. He doesn't really put things out there unless he kind of has a good grasp of if it's going to happen or not. It seems like this is a thing. Like Wizard said, that they changed their name to. They did the whole Disney thing where it's Universal Products, Consumer, this, that, and the other, and experiences. They're obviously looking to expand beyond just theme parks, and they should absolutely.
Yeah.
Parks, experiences, and products, I think, is how that goes.
Right.
Logistically speaking, what happened with the Global Dream and the ship that Disney bought and are recommissioning for their fleet, the original builders went bankrupt. I don't know if we're going to find many of those around, but could they buy ships that may be being retired by other fleets and rehab them in a way that Conductor there was maybe intimating? I think that's a possibility here. So I mean, it's going to be really fascinating to see what Universal does in this instance, and if they actually pursue this. I think it's worth pursuing for sure. And like I said, I think competition is good for the industry. To have another theme park player in this space, I think is just absolutely fantastic. So the sky is the limit on what you could do here. I think it's really, really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Wizard, from what I understand, because you kind of dipped into Halloween Horror Nights. From what I understand, you got some news for us in regards to Halloween Horror Nights.
Oh, do I? I sure do. Halloween Horror Nights has a very interesting stuff. Of course, we have the early entry ticket and the Super Nintendo World ticket, but now, of course, we have our two shows demolished. So the show this year will be in Water World, and it won't be the Jabberwockies, which is fantastic. It could be a Halloween themed show, it could be Slaughter World or something different. But what is something else that's popping up is the DreamWorks Theater. I'm hearing they may play a 3D horror film or horror clips of a film in there during Horror Nights, which would be great. It would be two shows and another People Eater. I don't know what they'd play in there, but it's it's percolating. It's been here quite a while now. It's been heating up the DreamWorks Theater might be a Horror Nights venue. Very
That's
interesting.
interesting. Are the Jabberwockies still a thing, by the way? I used to like them a lot, but man, I haven't really been following that. They still around?
The Jabberwockies were there every single year except and this year. And woo, I mean, I'm like shipping back to Vegas. I must say, my brother saw them in Vegas last year. He loved them, but I'm like, get them out of here. And so I'm glad that they have no reason to perform it.
Yeah, those guys are probably like 45 years old now, man. They've been around forever. It's crazy. What do you think about that, Brandon? What do you think about that idea?
You know, I like that idea because when we talk about later in the show, one of the things, the source that I found at Universal the other day when I was there filming said that the DreamWorks Theater, it wouldn't be that hard to inside the attraction, inside the theater, change the scenes, the clips. It's very easy, very easy. That's why that building was made originally, because every month or every couple months they were going to switch out like Kung Fu Panda would be something else by now. So obviously they have the resources to change it if they need to.
With that was that's why it was built. But so I asked someone else about it. Somebody told me, very good things, and they could have fixed it. Maybe that's why, if this is true, they could have fixed it. But apparently, during the installation of that was supposed to happen. But the reason why it hasn't happened because whoever was building it, they botched the system to change that, and that's why it has not changed in 5 years, because they messed up the capability to actually quickly change those films like that. So it'd be very costly to fix it. If they do get a Horror Nights thing, they could have fixed it. But yeah, that's why it's been Kung Fu Panda for so long.
Yeah.
Well, and that theater really impresses me. I mean, that theater is beautiful inside. I mean, compared to what was there before with that Shrek 4D. Oh my God, world of a difference. Go ahead, Dre.
Just to echo the points raised here, it was intended to be a flex space, and you can kind of see that, right? You can kind of see, okay, well, these, this is screen based, this is screen based, this is kind of modular, and all these different kind of what is it, tells that reveal that this was supposed to be an ever-changing space. But it's interesting, Wizard. I mean, that kind of modularity you kind of had to build in, and unfortunately, it sounds like it wasn't to the degree that made being used as a flex space possible, which is kind of sad. But I'm glad that they are kind of going back to that idea, because like you said, OG, it's a beautiful theater, and let's quite frankly, I think HHN needs a few more things to do to take off pressure off those mazes. So I think it's a really great idea.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that'd be very cool. That's a great idea. And I just
and there will also be I don't know, not a show, okay, but so the new thing that they have, these experiences. They call them character experiences. Last year, the Death Eaters and this big giant stilt guy. This year will probably be some giant stilt guy, the Death Eaters, but also the Megan Squadron, which will be all those Megan dancers will be rolling around the park dancing. They have been casting for that, so that'll be interesting because I love Megan.
That's
Megan.
great.
That one dance, man. That one dance. It just added on tens of millions of dollars to that box office performance. It's so funny. So I'm not surprised that Universal would pursue that.
That's funny. I have yet to see Megan, but now I'm kind of curious.
You have to. It's not even scary. It's like, you're actually really funny, and it's like hilarious. Actually,
is it meant to be scary, or is it sort of like a parody spoofy thing?
It's meant to be like like a Chucky light, it's like a horror comedy, but really like a nice balance between a horror comedy. Like the kills aren't even gory or anything. She only kills like 4 people, but she does start singing at a couple points in the movie, and the whole theater was dying every time. It was so funny.
Oh my God, that's hilarious! Is it like a Disney style, like kind of like that Broadway musical, like kind of music that she sings, or
she does? It was just no. She what is it? It was a very famous song. I forgot the name of the song, but she just started singing it like as almost like a lullaby for she's putting the girl to sleep. And she'll sing it, and she does it in such a way that it's so fun. It's like good, but it's horrible. It's hilarious.
I have an
my
idea.
god! But she does it when it's like it's purposely hilarious.
I have an idea. If they bring Megan, you imagine if she starts singing that, how many people are going to just like uproar for her doing that between the dance and her singing?
Yeah,
lights out.
I hope
Lights
so.
out.
It's hilarious.
That's wild.
And then she incorporated that dance into like a cool kill. I was like, oh wow, what a way to kill this person. Oh, my.
That's great. That's
I saw that
great.
movie
It's a funny thing.
2 times in theater. 2.
That's fantastic.
I believe they had the Megan dancers at some football games or some sporting
Yeah.
events and stuff
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
they had them
for the
on.
movie.
They had them on the Empire State Building and some sporting.
Oh,
events.
jeez. I didn't see that.
It's great stuff there. Sorry, OG.
No problem. Now, theme park conductor, you, from what I understand, you have some interesting stuff you wanted to share today in regard to like City Walk, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. So part of that conversation I had with this guy, the security, basically he was saying that they want to extend City Walk out. Supposedly they want to get rid of the Curious George parking structure. I guess that's come up in conversation. I don't know how they would do it. And then they want to actually follow what Disneyland has done with the security and take the security from in front of the park just before you get to the main entrance and move that all to the parking structures. And when I did ask him, though, because I know a couple shows ago you guys talked about the 2 on-site hotels that could be coming to Universal. And I know one of those spots you guys talked about was where the 2 HHN houses are and have been for the last couple seasons. And he could not confirm that. Now, the reason why I say he couldn't confirm that is because when he found out all this information that I'm going to talk about on the show today, apparently Universal Creative, they have 4 or 5 different blueprint books on what they want to bring to Universal within the next 5 to 10 years, but mainly in the next 5 years to get ready for the Olympics.
Oh, that's wild, man. I think it's a smart.
And what I was saying is, it is smart because one of those hotel spots is and the plan you can see it.
Definitely.
It's right in that the Curious George area. So if you take down the parking lot, rebuild the parking lot with the hotel's new guest parking lot, extend the City Walk to the entrance of the hotel, it makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah, no, it does. It absolutely does. Go ahead, Dre.
No, go ahead. Go to OG. I wanted to. You got a point there.
Oh yeah, no, I think it's a really smart idea. I think that taking kind of a play out of Disney's playbook with that, I think it's look, you're taking the security off of potential expansions for City Walk and whatever else. You're taking it off the table. You're moving it over to the parking structures. It's smart. It gives you the flexibility to sort of expand the money making stuff, right? Look, it's a good idea, and in California for both Universal Hollywood and Disneyland Resort, these companies are going to have to get more and more creative as we go on. We're going to talk a lot about later today about Disneyland Forward, which is like very much all about that. They're going to have to find ways to maximize the small amount of space that they have. This is a really, really good move on Universal. I've always felt that the Universal like metal detector bag check thing felt a little awkwardly, like the way you can have to walk around.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Yeah.
Also, and
it's a little annoying.
Yeah,
it answers my question. So why don't have the new security scanners? I'm like, oh, good, because they plan to move them. But you remember, OG, last time at Universal, we were like stepping those puddles trying to get to a car because they were in the tiny space. And usually went on like, even just recently, the park's been sold out quite a bit lately. So I'm coming out and there's just throngs of people in this tiny space. And I'm like, I can't move, and it's just like terrible. So I'm glad that whole area will be addressed.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Oh, go ahead, Dre.
Well,
I was just going to say on that point, the other reason why Universal wants to do that is because where the security checkpoint is now, they want to close that in. Obviously, that's where the other hotel is going to go in the Woody Woodpecker area, but they
Right.
want to close in City Walk because apparently in the last couple years since COVID has happened, there's been a lot more thefts, threatening going on in City Walk at certain times, mainly at night, and they want to ensure the guests are safe. So that's another reason why Universal is looking at that, to move security all the way to the parking structures. That way, if they catch someone with a weapon or something like that, they could stop them right there before they even enter City Walk, and that's not even getting into the theme park yet. So that
Right.
again, that is a smart move by Universal to do that, because safety is priority next to entertainment. I believe.
Smart move on Universal's part.
I would say there's one. I just remember one time there I saw on the news like some shooting or attempted shooting at City Walk. So yeah, makes sense. But also, I saw myself. I was walking along, nothing bad, but this dude was walking City Walk, going to the park, and right before he got into security, he had a pocket knife, and I saw him put him in the bushes, like buried in the bushes. Like I said, when he comes out, he grabs it. I'm like, oh wow, didn't know he's walking around with that City Walk. So yeah, it's good if they made it one big security bubble like Disney does. Cause they can take all that, put all that stuff in the car. You don't have to worry about walking around just City Walk, because a lot of people go to City Walk, not just go to the theme park, just go to City Walk, go to eat, go see a movie. So that gets a lot of attendance even when the park is closed or when people are not in the park. So you got to make sure those people are safe. And also, if they want to close it in and just get rid of that front area with the hotel, it's more immersive and gets rid of any of those sight lines.
There you go. And Dre, maybe with moving it off to off site a little bit, they would have caught the guy who ate the mushrooms and came and sat down with us in Springfield talking about aliens.
Probably
A much more controlled environment, right? Well, it's interesting. I mean, the expanding the security bubble, like Conductor pointed out, has definitely its safety advantages, absolutely for sure. But also from the retail merchandising side, I mean, to have a demarcation point between your theme park and your shopping and retail complex, of course, obviously that wasn't intended at first. That was added on later, as we saw most prominently with the Disneyland Resort. Disneyland Resort originally didn't have any security whatsoever when it was originally constructed by 2001, and well, we know what happened later that year, so that's when security was added. But what they've found is that having a demarcation point between these two facilities, being theme park and shopping and retail, it prevents people from exiting the park, shopping, and going back or hitting up either location much more freely. This would alleviate that, and so I'm sure from the retail side of things, they would see enhanced business from more ease of access when you're just in one bubble rather than transferring between the two.
Exactly. Great point.
Thought about that myself. I was like, my friends have asked me. They're like, "Oh, can we go to City Walk and come back?" I'm like, "Yeah." But then they're like, I don't want to walk around and go through security again. So then they end up staying. And I like to eat in City Walk too. But I'm like, I don't want to walk all the way around. And I try to just stay in. But if that's gone, and also, I feel like it's a small thing, but back with the psychologically thing, right?
Right.
You do that, I feel like psychologically, it feels more like a resort feel, right?
Yes.
It's not like in out. It feels like, oh, you're in security, you're in the resort now. Even if it's the same thing, psychologically, again, like with a multi-park, with a 2-day thing, it feels like you're in a resort versus just, I'm at a theme park.
Yeah.
One of the great ideas I remember hearing was for the Wizarding World West. As part of that concept was they were going to have a Grand Hall restaurant and have it be accessible from not only the theme park side, but also the City Walk side. And it was just really kind of cool idea, and maybe that could have provided an entrance. But in that particular instance, how do you do security if your bubble hasn't been expanded? So maybe ideas like that become much more viable.
Yeah, no, 100%. This is a very creative idea. This is it's one of those ideas, kind of like the Jurassic Park cruise line thing, where like very simple, but like, wow, that makes a lot of sense, right? Like, why didn't they do that before? It's smart move, very, very smart move. Thank you for sharing that, theme park conductor. Now, we've talked about a lot about it on the show, but this is your first time on here, so I kind of want to pick your brain a little bit. What are your thoughts on, these rumors, or not even rumors now, but like of the hotels and everything being added, Universal kind of going in a much more resort kind of minded direction? What are your thoughts on that? Do you support that? Do you think that maybe they should not dip into that, or like where's your head at with that?
To be honest with you, basically like Disneyland, even Knott's Berry Farm, they have their own hotels. So I think it's about time Universal gets in that game as well. And why not? With 5 years to go with the Olympics coming, at least have one hotel there. And I think that would draw just a lot of people to it. And not everyone is going to want to go to every single Olympic resort or game.
Event, yeah.
So, if you're staying at the on-site hotel, let's say you do want to go to something, but it's later in the evening and you have the whole morning and part of the afternoon and you're staying right there. Why wouldn't you want to stay there? You can enjoy the theme park for about 5-6 hours, have fun, take your kids. I think Universal is definitely needing a hotel, especially an on-site hotel, because I've stayed at the Hilton across the street. I haven't stayed at the Sheraton, but I've stayed at the Hilton. It's nice and whatnot, but again, I think for Universal to step into the game along with the other theme parks, I think they do need to have their on-site hotel.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, Brendan. And it really does, like Ethan touched upon, the psychology of having that on-site hotel makes you feel like, oh, there's so much to do. They have a hotel. I mean, we probably can't finish it all in one day, because that's why they have the hotel, right? So like a psychological effect, even if they don't add anything in, and we're hearing they're going to add a lot in, but even if they don't, I think it's still going to drive a lot of business, because normies are going to go, oh, well, if there's a hotel, then there's probably going to be a lot to do. We probably should book it. So,
right?
Smart idea.
Right.
Smart idea.
Oh.
And it's also important, I'd say, because for the Olympics specifically, that out of all the theme parks, Universal is the most transit accessible, right? It has its own subway stop. So even if you make your home base at the Universal Hotel, and you can still take the subway to see your Olympic event, but then come right back and eat at City Walk for dinner. It would just really benefit, because all those are tourists. They probably won't have any cars. They probably won't rent a car. They're like, oh wow, Universal next to a subway line that can lead to all these, and the subway leads to all the Olympic events are planned right next to transit stops in LA County.
And another point I want to point out: if they have an on-site hotel, they can do bundles. Like for the weekend, you can get theme park tickets, maybe get a disc. So let's say you're staying during a busy time of the year. They might offer, hey, we'll knock off, $50 if you want to do the VIP tour. It's really great. They can promote Universal and draw a lot more business. So that's why it's also important to have an on-site hotel as well.
Yeah, they have
they are huge too.
Vacation packages, because the Universal already partners with local hotels for vacation packages. In Orlando, HHN packages are huge for their business over there. And then usually the hotels come with perks like express passes. There'll be money benefits to not staying at the Hilton when there's a Universal hotel right at the entrance.
Yeah.
But creating almost like a home base for Olympic attendees. It's a
also. Sorry to interrupt, I forgot that NBC, that's their home base of operations for the Olympics. Their broadcasting is all going to be on the lower lot right there.
Yep.
Definitely.
Where are those people going to stay? Why not at the Universal Hotel? Hello.
Good point.
Yeah, brilliant.
Fantastic point.
Yeah. Now, Producer Dre, if you want to set the table for our next topic, we can kind of pivot.
Yeah, I think so. We'll start with the bad news first, I suppose.
Here we go. Wait, hold on, Dre. Are you saying that you're the bad guy? Oh man, I can't find the drop there. Oh, here we go.
You need people like me so you can point.
Okay, I'm not gonna play the whole thing. There's cussing it. I don't want to. I'm trying to be good with that.
Well, it would seem that on the Disney side of things, there's some good news and there's obviously some bad news. And unfortunately, we had to start with the bad news first so they could end with the good news later. In this particular case, I wanted to bring attention to the story because I thought it was quite fascinating. So, WDW News Today is reporting that the Mysteries of the Nautilus attraction over there at Disneyland Paris has been, after a 2-year closure, been entirely refurbished. And how did they refurbish it? Well, that is the point of contention. Because while they did restore a lot of the sets, clean everything up, restore the Oregon, which I wasn't previously made aware of, they've also removed quite heavily, quite strongly, the 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea theming that this attraction used to have. Now, obviously, when this attraction was created, it was kind of as a stopgap measure to keep investing in the park, but contain your investments in order to drive attendance for this park. And so it is a walkthrough type experience in that way, which Disneyland Paris actually has a lot of, interestingly enough. But this was themed to specifically the 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea live action feature that came out in the mid 20th century under Disney. And it was a beloved film by a lot of the people who originally worked on Disneyland Paris. So why not include it? And it was a kind of a wonderful inclusion to the kind of Jules Vernean Discovery Land that exists out there. Very, very cool. But when they have recently refurbished it here, they took out some elements that kind of are maybe not very popular by people. You can see out here this porthole used to reveal an actual giant squid, for example. And this giant squid, as you can see here, would actually come up and attack the submarine. And it was actually an audio animatronic figure, which was very, very impressive, especially for the time, but continued to be and beloved by guests. And now they have taken this squid audio animatronic out and have replaced it with a screen. So you can see, maybe they have a picture of it here. Okay, maybe they don't. This is the interview with the cast members we'll get to in a moment. But you can see this is this is video taken 8 years ago of the attraction as it previously existed. And it has many, many references to the 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea film franchise. And you can see right here, you can see a map to Vulcania here, which is obviously a fictional island. And it's a big, location in the film. Let's see right here.
Oh, there you go.
That's cool.
And you can see as you go along here, this is where the crew would dive under the sea right there. Very, very cool stuff. There's kind of an atmosphere and ambience here that's very, very cool in terms of audio. You could see Captain Nemo and the organ right there. And to your left, you can see some portholes. And the large porthole is going to be the attacking squid.
That's awesome, dude.
That is cool.
Very, very cool. Well, here is the refurbished version, and much of the theming, thankfully, is the same, but with a few alterations. They've basically removed any connection that it's had to 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea film. Vulcania is gone, from what I understand. And more of a loss is the fact that this porthole that you used to see the squid, now reveals like dolphins and
That's weird.
whales on like a screen. And it's kind of had a lot of people bizarre. Now the organ does still exist, which is great. You can see it right there, but it no longer shows Captain Nemo. And the Imagineers that I believe WDW News NT spoke to said this. Said, this is Luis here. Everybody knows the story of Captain Nemo, even though I must admit that when the project started, I hadn't seen the Disney adaptation. Now, why are we hiring people and haven't actually seen the films work on refurbishing attractions that feature the film? That's a little strange. Of course, now that I have, and even though it's still very based on the classic Disney movie, today we've introduced a new story celebrating the wonders of marine life in our oceans. So, new story means, well, the old story is gone.
Yeah,
As a kid, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea was one of my favorite movies at the time. The former submarine voyage attraction at Walt Disney World was always something that I look forward to. And when I visited Disneyland Paris for the first time, I was really excited because the first attraction I wanted to see was Mystery of the Nautilus. It's so unique to the resort, and it lived up to the expectation. However, that is now gone. They go on to say that right here, let's see. They said we wanted to deliver kind of a realistic attraction, be as realistic as possible, and I'm like,
Authentic.
yeah, authentic, right? That's kind of what it sounded there, Wizard. That's the connective tissue that I was going to kind of make here. It sounded like, realistic. Are we taking the joy out of these things? Because I don't think people go to Disney parks to have something realistic happen. I think they go to Disney parks to obviously be immersed in the fantasy, and that's kind of was the point of contention with Epcot, for example, right? Obviously, it was a kind of this realistic exhibition of the world of the future, but and it's kind of this edutainment type thing, but it didn't quite work. So putting something that would be more at home to the Seas Pavilion at Epcot and placing it in this very fantasy world of Discoveryland and a Jules Vernean type adventure with 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea is absolutely bizarre.
Well, it's weird. And when I first heard the story, I thought my brain immediately went to this, thinking like, oh, okay. Now this is in 2021. So, I mean, with all the cuts and everything going on, I don't even know if this is even on the table anymore.
Right.
But Disney's planning a 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea show, a prequel show for Disney Plus. So I thought, okay, they added the screen so it gives more flexibility to adapt it to this new show. But from what I'm hearing off the report from WDWNT, they're removing all the references from this franchise, Captain Nemo, the island, everything. It doesn't seem like and they even said as much, they're not keeping that theme. So that's kind of surprising. Really, really strange decision here.
And it's interesting because, one, I remember actually walking through that in Disneyland Paris in 2013. And then, two, it seems to be not maybe just not a parks problem, but like a Disney-wide problem with you said the hiring of the people that didn't even watch the movie. Because I was watching an interview of two of the director and one of the main actors of Secret Invasion, and they both stated they hadn't even read the comic of Secret Invasion at all. Like not even like a page or two. Like they didn't know. They just said no. Marvel said don't read the comic. They didn't even do the research, or they just did. So I don't know. It just seems like a company wide problem with the not reading the source material thing, or even with the Tiana, they're just the sequel stuff. I don't know what's going on. They should at least, if they want to make it a sequel ride, they should collaborate with the people making the Tiana, if it's still happening, Tiana sequel series, and try to tie it in. But unless like that, and I hope they didn't, because I wouldn't want to watch a Tiana sequel series about her getting food or whatever, salt mine. So I don't know. It just seems to be a company-wide thing with regarding the source material, and I'm not sure why that is.
Yeah, I don't know either. It's weird. I mean, I could see if there's a mandate, okay, we want to do something different here, but to tell them directly, don't check those comics out, don't read the comics. That's a little strange. Why not read them? But you can go in a different direction, but at least get kind of a basic framework as to what we're kind of working with here. Would make more sense than just ignore those. Yeah, don't even read them. Yeah, just ignore them. Okay.
Well, it's weird because, previously you used to have people who were passionate about those series or IPs or whatever, work on them and okay, let's bring this to life. This is something that we really want to do. It's almost now that they have these IPs foisted upon creators who basically just use it as a framework to get people in, but we're going to do what we want to do. not unlike Tiana's Bayou Adventure, not unlike this. And it's just, it's a very weird thing that isn't, I don't think, quite working out as well as they had hoped.
And
The comments. Go ahead.
The other thing I want to point out, like you were saying, Vashkai, during the introduction, was that first of all, 2 years they had it closed. They hire Imagineers that's never seen the movie, doesn't know anything about it. It's like, why would you do that? You would think you want people that know the attraction, the IP, ins and outs. So I'm not saying like copy it, from whatever, but I'm saying even to Wizard's point with the whole Marvel thing, not reading the comics, it's like, why wouldn't you read the comics? That way you could get a baseline and then create your own version of it, because at least you have a baseline to create from, a platform. Here, it's just kind of like, okay, here's an attraction, here's the IP, see what you could do with it, and good luck. That's kind of where we're at.
Yeah. In the case of, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, to be fair, in this particular circumstance, they didn't retheme it to 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. So I can kind of see a little bit in this why they didn't. It wasn't like necessarily necessary to have this person understand this franchise, because it's not going to be that franchise anyway. So it's kind of like, well, go ahead, Dre.
But it's perhaps if they were, maybe they could better. Maybe merge what they want to do versus what they have to work with. I mean, kind of thing where it's not so disjointed, I guess. Right? It could be, hey, Captain Nemo. He's had many adventures, right? Traveling back and forth from Volcania. And this here highlights what some of the things that he would have seen, kind of thing, and maybe you could have them, marine biology, life research kind of thing, but you could also have some fantastical things happen too, as would be per customary towards that franchise.
Now, to go back to OG's point, why isn't it 20? Why do they have to get rid of it? It seemed pretty popular to me. Is it part of is it the diversity thing where, I don't know, is that it? Like, I don't like focusing on marine life now. I don't get it. Like, if it's popular, and it's just a walkthrough, why you just refurbish it and repaint it to it?
That's my suspicion. That's my
Exactly.
suspicion, Wizard, because they do make it a point that they're going in this kind of conservationist, they're coming at it from a conservationist perspective for this attraction. And I had a conversation with OG over the phone regarding this. It feels like it's a little bit of a Stories Matter initiative rather than one birthed out of true inspiration and hey, we can really take this attraction to the next level. Sounds like it was like maybe we should take a more realistic tone with this because we want to forward a conservationist type message, which doesn't make for the best theme park attraction, honestly.
You mean shooting a giant squid with a giant harpoon isn't a conservationist message?
Suppose not. Suppose not.
So, off to a slight tangent. This Story Matters thing. You ever think maybe it seems like it's costing the company more money than I don't know if it's meant to save money, but it just seemed to cost. I mean, with the Tiana thing about that's like the biggest one, because now, I mean, the 2-year research thing, how much did that cost, right? And then they're thinking of a whole new storyline to paying all these people to think about, just because they had a nice storyline before what was originally intended to be there. Yeah, scrap that, make it a new one. That's more time, more hours, more money. Then they have to drop the concept art and more money, make new animatronics. It seems like it's costing that for a financially strapped company. Like they're putting an awful lot of money in that. Like this, they could have just refurbished everything, repainted, and open it up. And no, they had to take things away and just leave it alone, man. But it's fine if you do new things that way, like brand new attract. But you have to go back and fix all. I mean, because like I remember OG saying one time, I mean, you can find something controversial in everything, especially the old attractions, right? I mean, from 1955 usually at Disneyland. That's a different decades ago. I mean, it's fine if you put new attractions that way. That's cool because you're not wasting time and money changing things people already love.
Yeah.
And,
No,
and that's the thing. When you take something away that people do already love, you piss them off in the process. Now, I understand wanting to expand the appeal of it, and that's probably the pitch, right? Well, we could expand the appeal of this attraction if we appeal to this group, that group, otherwise. But
seriously,
when you do that,
if
do you do that at
Disney
the expense of the
markets a
group you
new
already have?
attraction in Paris, saying Marine Life,
Who's going to Disneyland Paris to see, realistic marine life? It doesn't make sense.
No.
People are going there for the fantasy. I mean,
you go to the
it's
Paris Aquarium for that. Like,
Exactly.
in fact, Parisians originally didn't go to Disneyland Paris because they felt it was it was like, well, it's we have real castles. Why would we go to a fake castle? But that's kind of it's a unique appeal amongst the French demographic and amongst Europe. They can get real anywhere. So that's just kind of a missed move here. The comments on this video are quite interesting. For example, the top comment is, not only did they remove the squid, they also removed all the audios and lighting effects that made the submarine feel alive. There's no more Captain Nemo or crew talking throughout the scenes. There used to be dialogue in the line, in the treasure room, in the chamber, on your way to the exit. They also removed all the mechanical and deep sea sounds you used to hear the crew working and the submarine brewing. There are no more lighting effects in the treasure room, no more organ music. They completely deleted the original soundtrack, and the Captain Nemo figure is nowhere to be seen as it was in the organ before. This update is a disgrace, especially to Tom Sherman's memory. The ride was his passion project of a lifetime, and it was. He died a few months after the opening. He was the most knowledgeable Nautilus fan in the world. This doesn't even feel like a Jules Verne attraction anymore, just a cheap under-the-sea screen-based ride. A dead silent museum with no mystery or adventure awaiting. No more theming, no more story, no more passion. Thank you, Disneyland Paris, for ruining yet another ride.
Wow.
well, that's because Captain Nemo, he was somehow racist, so they had to
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, if there's a silver lining in all this, I think that this is most likely a residual thing. We're seeing Latondra Newton. She just got fired.
Right.
I can't imagine Bob Iger right now. He's going to be entertaining a lot more of these projects where they're pissing away money for no reason.
No.
This one got
Yeah,
through.
you're right. They probably have a list and just getting through the end of the list and then
Right.
At
Exactly.
a time too when Wizard just bring up a great point here. At a time when the company's strapped, you can't afford passion, pet projects like this anymore that really don't move the needle. You really have to kind of take a hard look at what you're actually spending money on, which we are hearing reports of.
And by the way, this is another blemish on Daddy Josh's record.
There it is. Daddy Josh.
Hard Sky, right?
I'm telling you.
All Disney owned. You see, again, and that's why I was wanting to bring up point Disneyland Paris. That's all Disney owned. It's international, but it's all Disney owned. You don't see that happening at Hong Kong or Tokyo.
Well, I gotta say, man, the fan community used to despise Bob Chapek. They blamed Bob Chapek for literally every single thing that happened in those parks, whether he was the park chief or the CEO. It didn't matter. Whatever role Chapek had, it was his fault. We're coming to see the truth come to light, though, because he's been gone now since November.
Still happening with Mr. Daddy Josh.
Still happening. So what's going on? I mean, it's interesting.
Right now, we hear mostly crickets, but I see some people say something or hear about Josh, but still, it's not as much as they do with Chapek.
No,
not at all. Not even close. Well, and I think there's an element here too, where I think, especially with like content creators and stuff, and like I keep it real here on the channel. I'm not gonna poo-poo around. I think Daddy Josh is very social. And I think he makes friends with a lot of people, if you know what I'm saying. So I think a lot of people are a little bit
actually, honestly, a very smart of Daddy Josh.
Of course.
Oh, it's very smart. It's very smart. And I think that kind of it kind of prevents people from speaking out because, well, he's great us in the parks. I can't say anything on camera.
He has a nice smile and he's so friendly to me.
He's creating kind of an insolation barrier where, it alleviates any or deflects any criticism.
Especially if he's still on the short list to be the next CEO. Of course, he wants to be social and whatnot. You don't want to be a shut-in.
Which also makes to the point of him being social. But OG said how Universal on their social media they always comment on Lorena's page or something, the live streams. same type of idea. Like, oh wow, Universal. And, if they jumped in my live stream, I'm like, oh, that's so cool. And so it makes sense that to kind of push away any negative talk to interact with these folks.
No, it does. Yeah, you have Universal in your live chat. Yeah, you're gonna think twice next time if you're gonna be critical. And that's not knocking any certain content creator or whatever. It's just human nature. It's harder to do that.
I certainly would. I'd be like, oh wait, I don't want them jumping my live stream again. I'm gonna ignore that blemish.
Right? It becomes a little harder. So I think with Daddy Josh, I think that he does make friends and what have you. And I think that that's what's preventing some people from speaking out, which is unfortunate because I don't think he's done a great job. And I will give him credit where credit is due. We might see some great things from Daddy Josh coming up. We got Disneyland Forward coming out. Maybe he was instrumental in that because I do think it will get approved. If that's the case, hey, kudos to him for that. If we get the same dragon that we lost in Fantasmic or even a better dragon, hey, kudos to Daddy Josh for that. We'll see. Yeah. We'll see what he does. But so far, I haven't been impressed.
Even so, back to your what you always say, OG. What has he done?
What has he done?
Yeah,
I can't think of anything. Honestly,
besides maybe things for the worst, like the Jazz Kitchen or the Nautilus thing. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
The track record is not great, but hopefully things improve with our next story. Going into all things Disneyland Forward, Wizard, I think you have something here for us.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So, man, back at that event, they I forgot her name, but that awesome person from Disney herself suggested that the could be completed by May or June, and probably some with the city held that up but I got an email that they're working on it. And boy, if I was more prepared, I'd have the email up. But let me get that up. Boy, hold on.
Vash, EIR, for the people unfamiliar with it, is the Environmental Impact Report, and it's essentially a document made in collaboration with Disney that specifies essentially how dense the Disneyland Resort could actually be built out, because there are environmental impacts with density, right? So let's say, for example, if you have a hotel that has 750 rooms, well, where's your parking lot going to be to accommodate 750 rooms worth of people? What's the traffic patterns? How is that going to change, right, when you have a hotel of that size and of that magnitude? So the EIR specifies to the nth degree everything that would affect the city of Anaheim based on what Disneyland, either wants to do, is approved to do, and otherwise. So the EIR is very, very crucial to Disneyland Resort's future, and really they've been sticking with the same one since what, late 1990s or I want to say.
Yeah.
Well, this is interesting. Now, Dre, do you know if the Eastern Gateway project ever made it this far? Do we know how far that one made it through the process? I don't think it did.
I don't think it did update the EIR in any significant way. I believe it was, they obviously got through the development stage to the point where they actually had a 3D animatic, but I don't think it withstood public scrutiny to get to this stage here. Go ahead, Wizard. I believe you have something here.
Oh yeah. So here's the email. It says there, in the review and approval with City of Anaheim, multiple opportunities for the public to participate. Then they said they're conducting the EIR right there, and now it'll be available to the public for review and comment when complete. And then they list all their community coffees that they have done in the past and the future. One's coming up on July 22nd. Oh, right after you guys leave. and then one in Wars Park.
Well, it's in the morning, right? It's in the morning. So maybe we can drive by.
It is.
There you go.
Chaparral Park, Saturday, July 22nd, and then looks like August 12th. And it's funny, looks like the last one. And then this should be around the time, because they set the fall, so when it goes to the City Planning Commission. And this is, I assume, the fall's in September, so probably a little bit after this one, Planning Commission can go for approval. then City Council in early January, February. So we're coming up on an approval here if all goes right, folks.
It's
Yeah.
nice to see that this has, some political momentum behind it, because at Disneyland Resort for the last few years, it has
Yeah.
been up and down, especially with the former mayor, and we obviously went live with that story, and that really kind of
Yeah.
put the whole situation in doubt. But to see them kind of move towards this in this kind of
Definitely.
tangible way is really encouraging. Go ahead, OG.
Well, yeah, and then you had Governor Gavin Newsom there recently looking
Yeah,
at the
I was gonna point
blueprint.
that.
I mean, yeah, the concept art and stuff, basically endorsing the project. He took pictures in front of the artwork and stuff. Now that's a big
Yeah.
deal. Not that Governor Gavin Newsom has necessarily an official say in it, but we have to remember the new mayor of Anaheim is a Democrat. So the top Democrat in the state is basically endorsing this thing. That's going to put pressure on our mayor in Anaheim to kind of get this thing done, right?
Correct.
So
Sure.
it looks like this is probably going to happen, and it's good news for Anaheim. I'll tell you that much. I mean, like you said,
Disneyland
right?
Resort.
Yeah, I mean, it's been 20, even back in the late 90s, mid 90s, Disney's had issues with the city, with Westcott. It's been drama for years. I'm so glad they're finally working together. It's great.
And it's interesting because something I just discovered here. Then they're talking about the parking, the Eastern Gateway, and this they said along with 1 to 3 pedestrian bridges across Harbor Boulevard. I didn't know they were
1
planning
to 3.
potentially up to 3 bridges over there. Very interesting.
Wow. So it's a very Vegas type model right there. That is
Yeah,
really
definitely.
interesting because, well, if you're going to have some kind of resort complex where the Toy Story lot actually exists, it would make sense to have a pedestrian bridge specifically in that area.
So wait, that's going over Harbor?
Yeah, over
Over
Harbor
Harbor.
Boulevard. Right, 1 to 3 pedestrian bridges across Harbor Boulevard to create 2 acres of parking as part of Disneyland Forward.
Well,
So
that
I'm
sounds like
guessing
the
it's gonna
Eastern
be a-
Gate. That sounds like the Eastern Gateway project.
But yeah, I didn't realize
Yes.
the Eastern Gateway had potentially had
Yeah.
3 bridges attached.
Well, OG, we went over it how at that coffee event that Wizard had attended, that the pedestrian bridge was in fact back on the table,
Oh, yeah.
designed differently, obviously, in order to accommodate the businesses, right? That
Right.
lampooned it in the first place. But to have multiple across Harbor, man, that would. In terms of the environmental impact report, that would improve things greatly for the city of Anaheim and Harbor specifically. Traffic, all those kind of things. Safety, obviously, for guests. That's a
Yeah.
huge win right there.
Yeah,
Huge.
yeah. It's crazy. We'll see. I mean, from what I'm understanding, the timeline for this thing, we should see approval early next year. 2024 is what we're hearing, like the winter, fall. Maybe January, February, March area. So I think it's gonna be great for Disneyland Resort, and look, a lot of fans. I wouldn't expect like any major projects announced anytime soon with this. I mean, this is a seed planting thing, very much in the future, but it's a good thing. And if you want to keep I know Disney uses this as a sales tactic on the website, but it is true. If you want to keep our old favorites, eventually we're going to have to expand beyond what we have right now. Otherwise, Disney's going to have no other choice but to tear down and build up again. So I want to keep the
or retheme.
Or retheme things, right?
Yeah.
So if they have more open space to actually build new stuff, there's less likelihood that they'll tear down Tiki Room or Pirates or whatever old thing.
Sure.
So this is very, very good at preserving that old stuff as well.
Correct. This is an absolute win just for everybody around. I mean, even small things like parking, for example, right? That's always been a source of contention with the Disneyland Resort, and to have their land that they've been sitting on for years now. As a result of the like I said, the cancellation of the Eastern Gateway project, to have that be placed back on the table, to have the pedestrian bridge be placed back on the table, like you said, conductor safety is a top priority to improve safety for guests going across Harbor Boulevard. That is absolutely fantastic, and to ensure that the Disneyland Resort can still grow in largely the same area where it is now, I think is an absolute win for guests and Disney alike.
Well, Ethan, real quick, if you could scroll right there, right there, perfect. Gentlemen, I want to see your opinion on this. Now, okay, so we see the theme park expansion across Disneyland Drive. Do you gentlemen think that did, because Disneyland Drive is really only used for Disney stuff. I mean, you know, it's not really like a main road. Do you think they're going to work with the city to get rid of that so they can have a clean shot for the expansion across, you know, the street? Like, so when Disneyland expands over into that new area, they don't need to go over like a street. Do you think they'll do that, or do you think they'll just do the bridge?
In that area specifically, it gets complicated because there's a lot of maybe impediments there. But for Disney California Adventure, for example, I can see them annexing Disneyland Drive and building basically over it in order to provide connective tissue between Disney California Adventure and its proposed expansion pad to the west side of the actual resort complex. And we do see that in some of the proposal and paperwork that Disney is seeking annexation of a couple of streets around there in order to facilitate some of these changes. So I can absolutely see something like that because honestly, like you said, OG, there's not much traffic to be had there already. A lot of that services Disney's facilities, you know, at this point anyway.
Yeah.
Why not?
Now, is that going to create, if they do get rid of that street, is that going to create problems though for the Grand Cali? Because you enter the Grand Cali from that street. I wonder how they would work that.
Well, I think that's kind of why I think they're going to keep Magic Way the way it is and annex Disneyland Drive so that you could still access the facilities of, let's say, the what is it? Not the Paradise Pier Hotel, but the Pixar Place Hotel and the Disney's Grand California Hotel, along with the Disneyland Hotel from Magic Way specifically. So I think that's the ultimate route that they pursue there.
Okay, interesting. What are your thoughts, Conductor?
So my personal thoughts is yes, I totally agree. If they get rid of Disneyland Drive, they can easily do that. Now, we've all seen it from the Disney company, whether it's at Disneyland, Walt Disney World. They say all this stuff they're going to do, and then they start, you know, cutting it apart. And they say something, and then it turns into something else. So it from my perspective, if they decided to do something different, like the monorail, for example, how would you guys feel, since this is technically going to be a third gate, if they kind of made another station in the third gate? That way, if guests don't want to walk on the bridge, let's say they don't annex Disneyland Drive and they just put bridges from Disneyland to the third gate, and from Disney California Adventure put a bridge over the third gate. How would you guys feel about putting an extension of the monorail? So instead of having two different stops, one in downtown Disney, one in the edge of Tomorrowland, you have three stops. How would you guys feel about that?
I would be supportive of that. That's actually pretty cool. Hey, more monorail is always good in my book. But what do you think, Dre?
I think it would be an amazing idea. The only issue is, because it would be kind of this dual joint venture between the city and Disney, and then obviously cost has to be involved. I would love for it to be the case, but there are some logistical hurdles that they would have to overcome, and honestly, that's basically why the monorail has stayed the same way since I think the last time they moved it was back in 1992 for the construction of Indiana Jones Adventure. So it really is unfortunate that it hasn't been expanded. But I do agree with you. And look, if you look at the master plan of the Disneyland Resort as it was first conceived back in the 1990s. Let me see if I have that, actually. You'll actually see that the idea going forward wasn't just expanding the monorails or the monorail line, but actually providing not one but two people movers that would have taken you to the adjacent parking structures that were supposed to flank the Disneyland Resort, going all the way back to the 1990s. Now, we're probably going to experience that in the next 10 years, but we were supposed to have that for 40 years in. For very, very interesting. Let me see if I can find that concept artwork for you.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, now the Toy Story lot is interesting because in the concept art for like this to sell to the city for this whole rezoning thing, it's the concept art kind of shows like a Disney Springs kind of complex. I've been really bullish on that not happening. I think Disney's going to use, because the Toy Story lot is like 75 acres, which is almost identical to DCA. I would be shocked if that doesn't become another theme park. But what do you think, Wizard? Do you think you think it's going to be a Disney Springs, or do you think they're going to go more theme park for that one?
I think they should. I think they'll go theme park, and so it's the last kind of large plot of land that you got there, and it was zoned for a theme park. I think that'd be foolish not to go for a theme park there, and they can easily connect it with buses or a little tram or like a trolley, a streetcar or something. You can easily connect it. I think it'll be a nice theme park. With and they can even put like in-park hotels, like California Adventure has to put a nice berm. I think it'll be perfect. I think they'll go theme park. They're just doing that to show the city that they want to be able to have it as a flex space if they want. They want like, oh, it's zoned for theme park, but man, maybe we decide to put some retail here. Maybe we decide to put everything here. Right now I'm sure they can't put a hotel if they wanted to do that. So. Yeah. They get this approval, they'll do the in-park hotel, and still put a majority theme park there.
So, Wizard, what you're saying is you'd rather have a theme park than a Chanel and a Cheesecake Factory? Are you kidding, bro?
Yes. Yeah, I know. Shocker. I know I'm in the minority. His Twitter's going to cancel me.
Now, this was published back in 1991 here, but you can see.
I think I spy Westcott.
Westcott is definitely a thing there, as listed as number 7 on this. Disneyland Plaza was going to be the Esplanade, as listed by number 4. In the 10 kind of area right over here, you can see that the Garden Walk land was supposed to be incorporated as part of the Disneyland Resort. So maybe that is, in fact, the way to go in the future. But you can see, as part of the 9s here, up there in the upper left corner, in the lower right corner of this kind of layout right here, it says this. Complementing a network of pedestrian walkways, this sophisticated system of moving sidewalks, elevated people movers, and an expanded monorail system will transport guests throughout the resort. So we were supposed to get people movers that would take us from to and fro from the adjacent parking structures, which, as you can see on the 10s listed here, would be flanking the Disneyland Resort on both sides. And in the lower kind of right portion of the screen right there, you can see future expansion area. That was for the 3rd gate. So it took a little while, but we're seeing, I think, a version of this actually come to fruition with the ongoing developments at Disneyland Forward. And it is incredibly exciting to see as a fan.
With those one, if they do multiple pedestrian bridges, hopefully one of those 3 has moving walkways at least. That would help out.
That's a good point. Point.
It would be very, very cool. I know that there was supposed to be a moving walkway incorporated into the design of the Eastern Gateway project initially, and that got quickly axed from the table. With Disney's limited capital in expenditures and investment into some of these things, don't put your hopes up. Don't get your hopes up. But we can be hopeful.
Yeah,
they have limited now, but like I said, like we said, this is like a 30-year plan. So maybe by the time they actually build, get started on the Eastern Gateway, maybe they have enough to add in at least one. Like I said, maybe not all 3 of them if they do 3, but at least one, like the main one. Put in a little moving walkway, and I'll help people. They like to be ADA accessible. Put in a moving walkway over there. Help out the leg.
Exactly. Yeah. Now, Wizard, I want to ask you those parking structures, those 10s. Mm-hmm. Are those going to be themed to Jenny and Rose? Is that why they're 10s?
Oh yeah, they sure are. And each level is going to alternate between black and pink. Level 1 with black. Yeah.
So funny.
Then Mickey and Friends and Pixar Pals will be named to Lisa and
so funny. Gentlemen, I had a great time today talking shop with all of you. Theme Park Conductor, it was awesome having you on, brother. We will definitely have you back on to talk shop with us, dude.
He's leading the theme park train.
Yeah. Oh, wait, you know what? You said train. Hold on. You're right. We have theme park conductor here.
Yeah, but we have a drop for him.
We have a drop for you and everything.
Oh no! I must have hit that track switch!
There we go.
Wow, perfect.
But Mr. Conductor, if you could let everybody at home know where they could find you on social media, sir.
Yeah, definitely. Again, you can find me on Instagram at Theme Park Conductor. On Twitter, you can find me at Theme Conductor, and at YouTube, you can find me at Theme Park Conductor.
There he is. And I will definitely be linking all his stuff in the description down below. So subscribe and follow him on all of those socials. And right over here, I got Dr. Dre Vashsky, host of the Freshly Squeezed Show here on the channel. Dre, if you could let everybody at home know where they could find you on social media, sir.
The best place to find me is going to be at Vashsky. It's right down there. Just go ahead and type that in to interact with me on not only Twitter, but Threads as well. Definitely there. It's definitely interesting over there, but you can find me there for sure. And if you guys want to see me, well, it's going to be on the channel you're watching right now, in Orange Grove 55, where we have some amazing shows, including the amazing Citrus Corner, hosted by, well, the amazing George, Citrus George that we have here, where we talk about everything Walt Disney World related. Orange Grove 55, the original flavor, and Orange Nerd, where we talk about everything related to the entertainment industry. Jay with his Story Geek show, talking about all the stories that impact our lives. Actually, we have an interesting one talking about all things Last Crusade. And, well, who joins us is not only our dear friend Alia, but Cameron Pasha. So definitely check that out. And if you want to see me on there as well, I'm there too. Freshly Squeezed, your source for juice, news, and info, squeezed fresh, right from the Grove. Let's see. Not that one. Now,
Dre, I don't know if Wizard and Conductor will know who this is, but do you know who watched that video? That video with Cameron Pasha? Do you know who commented in that video?
Oh, who has commented on that video?
Stephanie Janishek.
Really?
Yeah.
Stephanie Janishek. Wow, that's. I have a fondness for her for sure. So that is very cool.
There you go.
She's fun. Yeah, she was in the chat and whatever, and very complimentary things. But it was cool to see her in there for sure. Yeah, she's fun.
Well, we hope to have Cameron on. Maybe even multiple times on the show here, and with the other various parts of the OG55 crew. So that should be very cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And last but certainly not least, we got Mr. Theme Park Wizard right over here with the awesome looking new shirt. Wizard, if you could let everybody at home know where they can find you on social media and where they can get ripped off on your merch store.
You can find me on Theme Park Wizard, Threads at Theme Park Wizard, as well as Instagram on Theme Park Wizard. Oh, during the show, especially the Disneyland Forward segment, I actually upped those prices yet again by 50%. So you can buy all my crazy merch on themeparkwizard.shop for an exclusive 1,000% markup.
There we go.
Really, I've spared no expense.
There we go. And not only did he hike the prices, but you need a reservation to go on his website. It's crazy.
That's right.
Oh,
And
you need on my phone right now.
You need reservation and admission to the website as well.
There we go. There we go.
Selected date.
And you know, we have next week we're going to implement new things. We're going to have tier 0 days going all the way to 25 days. So you have to really pick what day you want to go on the website.
Yeah, well, Wizard, I appreciate the flexibility. I do. Thank you.
I know. We're just doing that. We're just trying to enhance the guest experience.
There we go. Look at this guy making moves. Even as making moves. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, have a wonderful day. Bye, everybody.